So for P6, problem number 27, we have root 2 over 2 plus root 2 over 2I raised to the fourth. This is so easy, it's kind of scary. What do you see in both the real and imaginary portion? Root 2 over 2. So I'm going to factor that out. Root 2 over 2 times the quantity 1 plus I raised to the fourth. Now all of this is raised to the fourth. Now we have two factors. This is a factor and this is a factor. So when we look at this, this is a term and this is a term. And so we can distribute the 4 through because this is this term raised to the first, this term raised to the first. And so remember, when you raise a power to a power, you multiply the powers. So this becomes root 2 over 2 raised to the fourth times the quantity 1 plus I raised to the fourth. Now this is really easy, kind of. What is, so think of it like this. The square root of 2 is the same as 2 to the 1/2, isn't it? Oops, lost our spot there. Right? And then that's all over 2 raised to the fourth. Now another property of exponents is I could take this power and multiply them by 4. So I can distribute the power of 4 to both the top and bottom. Okay? So I'm going to do that now before we move, before we move on to the next step. So this becomes 2 raised to the 4 over 2, and then this becomes 2 to the fourth. And we'll address that in a second.
Why isn't it 2 squared? Because 4 divided by 2 is just 2.
It is, but I'm writing out every little step for the first time, so that way, yeah, you're absolutely correct. That would be the next step. Now, this 1 plus I business is going to be something that we're going to have to tackle, and that's okay. But yeah, this is actually, 4 divided by 2 is actually 2, so I could make this 2 squared, and this is 2 to the fourth. By the way, I can reduce that. Tried to get ahead of myself. If I subtract 2 here and subtract 2 here, I've got 2 to the 0, which is 1, and then I've got 2 squared, which is 4. So that worked out pretty good, huh? So now I just need to deal with this business here of 1 plus I to the fourth. I guess I could square it, and then I could square the square is one way to approach it. So let's do that. So this is the same as 1 plus I squared, and then if I square the whole thing, right? I think that might be easier for me. Are you guys with me so far? So this is where we're at. So let me write that down. 1/4 times the quantity. Now let's figure out what this I plus 1 plus I thing is. So if I write over here to the side, and I say 1 plus I and then 1 plus I get 1 times 1, which is 1. I get 1I, and then I times I is I squared, which is really -1. Is that right? Oh, you guys can't. Oh, I forgot I zoomed in on that. Why didn't you guys say something? Where's my little remote control? How long has that been like that? Oh, you've been able to see it this whole time?
Yeah.
There we go. All right, cool. So let's look at that. Yeah, so that works out. So what's 1 minus 1? What's I plus I? So now I've got 2I on the inside, but I got to square that whole thing, right? Right? So what I said is that 1 plus I squared is actually equal to 2I, right? Because 1 plus I times 1 plus I, These ones cancel and I'm left with 2i. Well, what's 2i squared? 4i squared. What's I squared? 4 times negative 1, which is going to be altogether negative 1. 1/4 of 4 is 1 times negative 1 is just negative 1. Does that make sense? What was that? Problem number 27? Any questions?